Hey everybody. So in this video, we're talking about going from the general form of a circle to what's called the standard form of a circle. So here we see the equation of this circle in general form, but we want this form. We want x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals the radius squared. This is our standard form. Now, the reason we really like standard form is because h and k tell us the center of the circle, and then we know from the center how far to go out to actually draw our circle. It's really difficult to determine the center and the radius when the equation is in general form. So the purpose of this video is to go from general to standard. So here's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to move all constants to the right-hand side. So they are adding 17. We will subtract 17. So here I can say, let's subtract 17 from both sides. So now I am left with x squared. Now, while I'm rewriting this, I am going to go ahead and group my x's. So I have an x squared here. I want the 14x to be by it. Y squared and the y. Now, watch what I do. I'm intentionally going to leave a little bit of space here. All right? So I'm going to say plus y squared minus 4y. I am intentionally leaving some space, and this is going to equal negative 17. Now, this is where it can get confusing. The reason I'm leaving some space is because I am going to have to complete the square. Now, let me tell you why I'm doing that. Here, x minus h quantity squared. This is, if I took this and I multiplied it out, that would be what is called a perfect square trinomial. So let me give you some random values here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Let's say this were x minus 2 quantity squared. If I FOILed this, I would get x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now, this is called a perfect square trinomial. It is easy to go from this to this. All right. Now, the easiest, how you know something is a perfect square trinomial is you look at the middle term, you cut it in half and square it. So let's work with this negative 4. If I cut negative 4 in half, that would give me negative 2. What's negative 2 squared? It's 4. This is a perfect square trinomial. I need 2 of these in order to write the equation of a circle. So let's look over here and we're going to apply that same logic. I need to complete the square. So I'm going to say, okay, what's half of 14? That's 7. What's 7 squared? That's 49. So here I'm going to add 49. Now remember, anytime you do something to one side of the equal sign, you have to do it to the other because that's called balancing an equation. That's why you learned that phrase when you were in middle school. So here we're going to add 49. And I'm going to do the same thing with my y's. Right here, negative 4. Cut it in half. What do I get? I get negative 2. What's negative 2 squared? It's positive 4. So if I add one value to the left, I must add that value to the right. Now I have perfect square trinomials. Each of these are factorable. So let's do that. Let's just factor with the x. I have x plus 7 times x plus 7. And then that's going, if I write this over here with the y's, I have y minus 2 times y minus 2. This equals negative 17 plus 49 plus 4. And that is going to give us 36. Now, we're almost done with this because I have factored it, but this doesn't quite look like this. I want it to look like that. So here I have this binomial times itself, so I could write it as x plus 7 quantity squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared equals 36. Now I've written my circle in standard form. From here, it's very easy to identify the center and the radius. So here, x minus h, this tells us that you have to change the value of whatever h is. So here, because I have plus 7, this is going to be negative 7, and this is going to be 2. Right? So that's a positive 7, that's a negative 2. So when you change the sign, that became negative 7 and that became positive 2. All right, that is the center of my circle. So here I could label this as the center. And then because this is standard form, the value of the radius here is being squared. So I need to think, okay, what is the radius? Well, the radius is just going to be the square root of this number. And that value is going to be 6. Now, one thing we're not going to do, we're not going to say plus or minus 6. Because remember, a radius is the distance from the center of a circle to any point on the circle, and distances cannot be negative. So here we've gone from standard form, or excuse me, general form to standard form. All right, that's going to be all for this video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and we'll see you all in the next video.